Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm talking about something that trips up a lot of people, especially men, and that is how to follow up after a date. What do you text? Do you call? When do you text? When do you call? How much is too much? How little is too little? And how do you follow up without sounding needy or awkward or, uninterested? Because here's what usually happens. The date ends, it was decent, maybe it was even good. You say goodbye and then silence. And suddenly your brain starts filling in the gaps. Should I call? Should I text? Should I text now? No, I should wait. How long should I wait? Should I play it cool? Did I play it too cool? Did I do something wrong? So let's calm down and let's simplify this. Following up after a date isn't about strategy. It never is. It's about clarity. So if you have any strategy or strategies in place at all, they should help you be more clear. And clarity is attractive. First things first. If you enjoyed the date, you should follow up. That's it. There is no prize to win. There's no prize for pretending you didn't care. There's no bonus points for disappearing for days. You don't get any credit. If you had a good time, saying so is not needy, it's confident. I always do this. I even do this during the date. I just say, I'm having a good time, or I like you. It has nothing to do with being needy. It's about being clear and confident, letting the other person know what is what. A good follow up message, for instance, should be simple, it should be warm, and it should be direct. Something along the lines of, Hey, I had a good time yesterday. I enjoyed talking with you. That already does most of the work. You're acknowledging the date, you are expressing interest, and you're not asking for reassurance because, you shouldn't care about the reassurance. You should only care about making your intentions clear. You had a good time, you like her, and you probably want to see her again. That's it. Regardless of whether she enjoyed it, whether she likes you, whether she wants to see you again. You shouldn't care about that too much. We're talking a first date, maybe even a second date. Timing wise, the same day or the next day is completely fine. You don't need to wait 3 days. You don't need to wait until some imaginary rule book allows you to text or to call. If the date ended in the evening and you felt good about it, you probably know if she liked it or if she enjoyed you or not. Just sending a short message later that night or the next morning is normal behavior. I mean, I do this all the time. I end the date and on my walk to the car or to the subway or whatever it is where I'm going, I'll just shoot her a short message like, hey, I had a great time, safe travels or something along the lines of, let me know when you get home. Should be nothing more than that. What you want to avoid is overdoing it. The follow up is not the place for long paragraphs or emotional speeches or, replaying the entire date. You're not trying to convince her that the date was amazing. She'll know if the date was amazing or not. And what is amazing for you doesn't necessarily mean amazing for her. You're simply opening the door to the next step. Now, here's the important shift that a lot of people need to make, and that is the follow up is not about getting validation. Like I said, it's not about asking for the reassurance. It's not about checking if she liked you. Hopefully she does, but if she doesn't, well, then that's it. You shouldn't care about that at this moment. You just want to state your interest and seeing if it's reciprocated. That's all you're doing. Regardless of whether she likes you or not, or whether she thinks the date was great or not. It's about you, showing interest being clear, being direct, and, you know, seeing if she reciprocates it or not. That's why a strong follow up often includes forward momentum. We often forget that. We shouldn't leave it in the open, like, what are we going to do now? Something along the lines of, I'd like to see you again. Let's grab a drink sometime this week. Or say something along the lines of, I'd like to see you again. I can do Friday or Saturday. Are you open for a second date? It's calm, it's clear, there's no pressure, you're not begging, you're just inviting her for another date. Usually, if you played your cards right, you already know if she is into or if she's open to another date. I usually check this before I leave the date. But, if you don't do that, then this is a great way to, follow up. If she responds positively, great. You move on to planning. If her response is slow or vague or, lukewarm, that's information. And this is where a lot of guys mess up. They try to fix that energy with more text, more effort, more explanations. Don't do that. Let her response guide you. You know, Following up also means knowing when to stop. If you send a clear, respectful message and you're met with dry replies, no replies at all, you know, the follow up has done its job. You know where you stand. You can move on or move forward. You don't chase clarity that isn't being given. Silence or just low effort is still an answer. That's all you need to know. You just need to know, does she want to move on with you, yes or no? Another common mistake is trying to stay in constant contact after the date. Endless texting doesn't build attraction, often it kills it even. The follow up should lead toward the next date, not replace it. A few messages to check in and make plans is enough. If there's, a week in between dates, then, maybe more messages should be sent, sure, to keep a little bit of the spark, a little bit of the, conversation going, to stay a little bit in touch, sure. But let real connection happen in person. I've had first dates and we would set up for a second date, but, you know, too much time goes over, or too much time passes, and then you get a text or a call where she says something along the lines of, yeah, I would like to stay in contact by messaging, or you should call. And I always reply with, well, I don't want to call, I don't want to send text messages, I want to see you in person. I cannot connect or build something with somebody who isn't there. I can't make a connection just on the screen. That's not how it works. So there's also no need to play busy or distant on purpose. If you're busy, you're busy. If you're free, you're free. Reply. Natural pacing beats manufactured delay every time. Confidence comes from being grounded in yourself and not trying to appear mysterious. Makes no sense. And here's something important that doesn't get said enough. Sometimes the date was just okay. Not bad, not great. And that case, you're allowed to take a moment and see how you really feel about her. You don't owe anyone instant enthusiasm. But if you decide you don't want to see her again, be honest. Just tell her, hey, I had a good time talking with you, but I don't think we're a good match. So for me, I'm no longer interested in seeing you. I wish you the best. That's it. Something along those lines will just do fine. Don't keep someone in limbo just because you don't like uncomfortable conversations. Just be a straight shooter. So, to sum it up in plain terms, if you like to date, follow up, keep it simple, be clear. Suggest seeing each other again, then pay attention to how she responds. Don't overinvest before interest is mutual, and don't disappear out of fear. Following up after a date isn't about saying the perfect thing, it's about showing calm interest and letting the situation reveal itself. When you do that, dating becomes a lot less stressful and a lot more honest. And we need more honesty in dating. So thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.